The revamp of a financial aid form is not going over well with students. We'll tell you why.
And think you're up to date with the national news? That's okay. We can get you in the loop.
Plus, a new firefighter training center comes to San Jose. That and more coming up.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Ivan Moreno.
And I'm Vincent Rapena. FAFSA applications are down 30% this year, and the federal government is struggling to process the applications they already have. What is being done to resolve the problem, and what does this mean for college students? I went out to find some answers. College students around the country rely on financial aid to help them pay for the cost of education. Each year, over 17 million people submit the free application for student aid, commonly referred to as FAFSA. This year, 5% of processed applications were affected by technological issues, according to the IRS and Education Department. Applicants are going to have to wait longer to receive the financial aid package as a result. CSU schools are extending the intent to enroll deadline as a response to the delays.
Normally it's May 1st. We've pushed back to May 15th to give more processing time for the FAFSA information to come from the U.S. government to us.
Some students say they will continue to struggle the longer they cannot receive their aid packages.
Still has not gotten back to me with how much aid I've received, and it's really problematic for me because I want to know what to plan for my tuition for the next year.
The changes that were made in this year's FAFSA have also presented students with new challenges.
The household income has now changed since one sibling is now considered the whole family income and the other sibling is also considered the whole family income instead of being split.
Justin Drager, President and CEO of the National Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators, said that more delays are coming via a statement posted on the NASFAA website April 2nd. Students at San Jose State can come to the Financial Aid and Scholarship Office with questions regarding educational finance options and resources. The FASO office is located at the corner of 9th Street and San Fernando Street. Students can make appointments for in-person and virtual meetings.
Need to know what's going on around the globe Andrew Hartley sat down to tell us what the biggest headlines were this past week.
Tell you things your parents definitely saw in the news that you should know about too. After a month of fasting, Muslims globally celebrated Eid al-Fitr Wednesday. The celebration marks the end of Ramadan and is one of the biggest celebrations on the Islamic calendar. A phrase commonly associated with this is Eid Mubarak, an Arabic term meaning holy feast. After 6 months of fighting, the Israeli military has withdrawn its troops from southern Gaza. While active fighting has stopped in Gaza, this war is still not at its end. There have been more than 30,000 confirmed Palestinian deaths in Gaza over this time. In related news, McDonald's has decided to buy back all 225 of its franchises in Israel. There have been protests internationally after it was reported the company was providing meals for Israeli soldiers. The company saw just a 0.7% same-store sales increase in the continent of Asia last quarter. The New York earthquake wasn't the largest quake that happened last week. There was a 7.2 magnitude quake that struck Taiwan. The event led to 9 deaths and more than 900 people injured. This was the largest earthquake Taiwan has suffered in at least 25 years. Finally, women's sports continues to be on the rise. For the first time in history, the Women's March Madness Championship game drew more viewers than their male counterparts. The women's game saw 18.9 million viewers, while the men's drew 14.8 million. That's what's been in the loop this week. Now, back to the desk.
It's an election year for the whole country, but there is also an election coming up right here at SJSU. The Associated Student Government is holding a debate next week to help student voters get to know the candidates before Election Day. Joining us now is Tiara Brown, the Associated Students Ethics Officer. Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
So kind of getting into it, what is Associated Students and why should students vote?
So Associate Students is a nonprofit government here at San Jose State. They help with advocating for students and maintaining student voices through the AS board. They also have 9 departments that provide service to all campus.
Continuing on, what can students expect if they attend the debate next week?
So next week, the debate is happening April 15th from 5 to 7, and it's an amazing opportunity to get to know the candidates that's running for the AS board. The AS board is very important because they advocate for all the students. You don't want to vote for someone who doesn't ideal with your beliefs.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. The debate is Monday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Our executive producer, Carson Wells, will be joining the team of moderators. If you can't attend in person, we'll be running a live stream of the event too. And a once beloved NFL superstar who later became the center of controversy is dead. O.J. Simpson died at his Las Vegas home. He was 76. According to reports, he had been battling prostate cancer. Simpson was acquitted in a 1995 sensational murder case that gripped the nation. His legacy was forever changed, despite being cleared by a Los Angeles jury of killing his ex-wife and her male friend.
It'll cost you more than $1 to shop at Dollar Tree these days. The value of retail chain is rising its prices. It's at its 3,000 stores. San Jose State students told me they will feel the impact. Dollar Tree is increasing its prices to as high as $7 for some products, and for small items up to $1.50.
Dollar Tree was the place to go. Most things were $1, and like the value of things wasn't as bad as they are today. But with inflation and everything, market prices go up.
Goes to show you that inflation is really starting to hit hard on the places that were always cheap to get groceries and buy necessary items. Now they're rising the prices of cost.
The price increase could affect many people who shop at Dollar Tree to buy utilities like cooking supplies, food, and other utilities for better prices.
Dollar Tree is a place that has a lot of like low quality stuff because everything there is $1. So since we can't buy their stuff there anymore, then like what other options are they gonna have?
This is not the first time Dollar Tree has increased its prices. The retail chain boosted its prices back in 2021 and 2023, and this year prices continue to cost more than $1 at the so-called dollar store.
Let's face it, San Jose State is located in a city that has a very high cost of living, but for those who need it, there's a helping hand here on campus. Reporter Jocelyn Escobar explains.
Food is a human necessity. Sadly, for some students here on campus, it can become unaffordable. San Jose State has a pantry that provides students with essential food items free of charge. It's located at the Student Union.
So one of the people here that really took concern was Ben Falter, who used to be the former director of SJSU Cares, worked with campus partners to make sure that we get a food pantry on campus, but not only a food pantry in a closet somewhere, but a food pantry that is located centrally on campus.
Students are provided with a variety of food items to help them have a stable diet.
The Spartan Food Pantry had 37,000 visits and approximately 4,000 unique visits that the food pantry, which means that 4,000 students used the food pantry last year.
The net price to attend San Jose State continues to increase, with a predicted $33,000 in expenses in 2025.
We live in San Jose, and sometimes it's hard to afford, your own rent, and you don't even have enough money just to even buy some food.
I feel like this is really beneficial to those students who are low income. They may be also first generation students from their family who are also low income.
With the rising cost of not just rent but also food, the Spartan Pantry is a great resource for students that need nutritious food free of charge. At San Jose State University, Jocelyn Escobar, Update News.
San Jose firefighters have a new training center. It's located right next to Excite Ballpark on Center Road. At the site, there's a 6-story tower that creates a mock fire training scenario. The new training tower is different from other facilities because it can be used to simulate emergency scenarios specific to San Jose. The site has been in the works since 2018 after San Jose voters passed Measure T, which paid for the construction.
When we come back,
how do you plan a solar eclipse viewing party? You plan it, and the Sunnyvale Public Library did just that.
Plus, climate change has altered the way people see national parks. Just ahead.
Is it going to rain this weekend? Who knows, but don't let that stop you from admitting Spartans Day this weekend, coming up on your 7-day forecast.
Monday was an important day in astronomy. There was a solar eclipse, but were people excited to see it outside of the path of totality? Reporter Larry Larkin was at the viewing party at the Sunnyvale Public Library, and he has more on the story.
Big turnout Monday at the Sunnyvale Public Library to view the solar eclipse. That's even though the Bay Area wasn't in the path of totality, meaning people only got to see a partial eclipse. Were people just as excited to see it? Turns out the answer is yes.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited only to see anything, actually. I didn't expect so many people to be here. It's a really nice setup.
The line to get into the event extended into the parking lot. People were looking forward to seeing any portion of the solar eclipse they could.
Absolutely, yes. I am excited to see every part or any part that I can see today.
So how were people able to see the eclipse? The Sunnyvale Public Library brought telescopes to the viewing where people could look through to see it. The library also has telescopes that people can borrow.
Visibility with the public, that we do things like this, and things like this, like the telescopes, are available to borrow.
The superintendent of the library estimated that over 400 people came to the viewing. The next total solar eclipse in the contiguous United States won't be until August 23rd, 2044. In Sunnyvale, Larry Larkin, Update News.
As the temperatures begin to rise this spring, so does the concern of effects of global warming. California has been facing record highs in our fire seasons, harming not only our homes and local forests, but our beloved national parks as well. According to scientists, from 1950 to 2010, the area within Yosemite National Park boundaries warmed at the rate of 3.4 degrees Fahrenheit per century. As a consequence, the park is seeing lengthening fire seasons by around 78 days. Park officials encourage the public to pick up their trash, recycle, take public transportation, and engage in conversations about climate change.
In many places throughout the world, you'll find protesters fighting for their rights, from marches to boycotting, all the way to something more destructive. Destroying artwork is ruining artwork a proper way to protest? Alexis Marquez looks at the question.
Last month in San Francisco, a group of artists called Bay Area Now 9 vandalized their own artwork at Yerba Buena Center for the Arts. It was the artists' way of calling attention to the plight of the Palestinian people and to call for a ceasefire in Gaza. The vandalism forced the center to close temporarily.
I modified my work to say Free Palestine because this museum has been silencing us.
There have been many occasions where artwork has been a casualty of protest. It tends to make big news and reaches audience that may have not been reached before. So, is this a good way to protest?
And I see the destruction of art as a violence.
Fisher also mentions that verbal communication and persevering with the truth through nonviolent channels is the way to go about protest. Some people see the importance of the obstruction of art as a bigger picture of what's going on in the world.
If the community feels a certain way about a piece of artwork and it gets destroyed because of that, I think that's just a sign of what's larger going on. I think at the end of the day, it's just paint.
Some artists understand the importance of both sides of the argument.
I don't know if I agree with that, but at the same time, that's kind of how graffiti and street art came to light. Punk attitude, you know what I mean?
Art is a tool that can be used in many different ways. Do you think destroying it should be one of them? Let us know at our socials at SJSU Update News. In San Jose, I'm Alexis Marquez, Update News.
The United States has been rattled from coast to coast this past week, shaking up citizens and their normal routines. New York was hit with a 4.8 magnitude earthquake last week, the biggest to hit that area of the country in over 140 years. East Coast residents are questioning how prepared they are for the next shakeup. Then, closer to home, a 3.0 magnitude earthquake struck East San Jose yesterday morning. That size earthquake is not uncommon for the Bay Area. The big one and go bags are things Californians know all too well. How prepared are you?
As the weather gets nicer, many people are heading outside to enjoy it. Reporter Carson Willis checked in with one man who's enjoying it during his walk across America.
This is Ranger Keelak. He embarked on his walk across America last month and has been walking every day since.
What I've been calling the different cities lily pads, because I kind of see myself as a frog getting across a pond.
His journey has been 2 years in the making. Ranger started in Myrtle Beach, Florida, and has been traveling with just a backpack and a stroller to hold his supplies. His fiancée was there with him when he took his first steps and has been cheering him on from California ever since. They got engaged just a few months before he set off on his walk.
Because the switch went from, oh my gosh, I have a fiance, to, oh my God, I have a fiance who is walking across the country now.
Ranger has been keeping his friends and family up to date on his travels on his Facebook page. He posts pictures and videos of all the places he's been and all the kind strangers he's met. Throughout his walk, Ranger is fundraising money for a few nonprofits: Future Farmers of America, the Hospice Promise, and Bigger Than the Trail. He expects the walk to take about 6 months, and all the money donated in that time will be dispersed between those groups. I'm here at Pismo Beach, where in just a couple months, Ranger will be concluding his walk.
There's a restaurant there that I really want to go to when I finish. So it's just, it just felt like a very natural end, that it'll be a place most of my family can get to. I already have some friends in the area.
Ranger is rotating between camping and hotel stays. His most recent update has been from Alabama. If you're interested in following Ranger's journey, check him out on Facebook at Within Range Coaching. In San Jose, Carson Wells, Update News.
If you'd like to help regarding gender identity and other issues, San Jose State has a center where officials say you can feel safe. Reporter Adrian Peretta explains.
Located inside the Student Union on the first level, the Gender Equity Center welcomes everyone. It also encourages students to stop by if they need a spot to hang out or study.
A lot of different resources for sexual assault survivors, as well as just people that are dealing with different issues pertaining to gender. We also have contact with our campus survivor advocate, Selena, which provides a confidential service for sexual assault survivors.
While I got a chance to walk through the Gender Equity Center, I got to hear directly from a staff member on what the center offers for students.
We get to talk about really complex topics, really in depth. So talking about things like reproductive justice and gender-based violence, talking about those things in a way that maybe we don't talk about in other spaces.
And here is what one intern of the center wishes the campus knew about the Gender Equity Center.
One thing I wish the campus knew about the Gender Equity Center is that we have a lactation room, which is for anyone who's breastfeeding. They can come in completely for free to pump milk or to breastfeed.
The lactation room is a separate room located inside the Gender Equity Center. It has a comfortable chair and a mini fridge and is available for anyone who would like to feed their little one in peace. The Gender Equity Center is open Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. with the weekends closed.
At San Jose State, with Update News, I'm Adrian Peretta.
It's been sunny and 70 in San Jose, but with that last, here's Alejandra Vaca with more on this weekend's weather.
Hi, this is Alejandra Vaca with your 7-day forecast. So this is what you can expect for the next 5 days. We are going to start moving into some warmer temperatures after having a few warmer days. It's kind of a bit of a roller coaster week, and then we will go into some cooler temperatures into the weekend. So there's going to be a significant warm up between today and tomorrow with temperatures reaching 80. So it's going to feel like summer today, and tomorrow it's going to start to feel like spring. But then we will start to cool down into 60s with some possible rain chances returning for the weekend. And temperatures will be cold enough in the Sierra, across the Sierra, with snowfall reaching about 6 to 13 inches of snow. So here you could see the Sierra will probably get about 6 to 13 inches. And let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. For Santa Cruz, you can see a big drop in temperatures going into the weekend. So today is probably going to be a little bit cloudy, and then into Saturday is going to start to rain. And then Oakland, similar trend for Bayside near Oakland with cooler breezy conditions later this week. And in San Francisco, after getting into the 70s, we'll see cooler breezy conditions for San Francisco. Some rain chances at times into the weekend. And here in San Jose will see once again the significant temperature drop from 80s into 60s. So here you are. From 80s on Thursdays to it's going to start to cool down on Friday, and then on Saturday going into some showers, but then it's going to start to clear up again into next weekend. And that is it for your 7-day forecast. Back to the desk.
When we come back, we have a new women's soccer team in the Bay Area. Find out how popular they are.
Plus, a lot of excitement over at the San Jose Civic Auditorium earlier this week. We'll tell you what was going on.
And where did you spend your spring break? We find out in this week's State of the Spartans coming up.
Women's sports are on the rise these days. The NCAA Division I women's basketball tournament just concluded with record-breaking viewership. There's the announcement of a WNBA expansion team in the Bay Area. Reporter Kyle Tran says the rise of women's sports, especially locally, is a nonstop train heading our way.
Last weekend, the new expansion team of the National Women's Soccer League, called Bay FC, welcomed the Bay Area into its inaugural home opener at PayPal Park in San Jose. The club ushered in a new era of women's sports as it sold out the venue with an attendance of 18,000. In preparation for this historical event, the club has been practicing at the Spartan Soccer Complex, the home of the San Jose State men's and women's soccer teams at South Campus. The club has also invested $2 million in renovations of the football team's old visiting locker rooms to use for the time being.
It felt like a win before the game, during the game, because the fans, 18,000 plus. I haven't seen that here in the Bay Area ever. It's just a little bit surreal. The energy, the excitement.
No, yeah, of course, we are very, very happy. We knew our fans were going to be the best in the league, and they showed today. They were right there with us, even in the tough moments.
I just love to see women in sports, and it's really important to me as a woman in sports as well to see representation, and I also really like that there's more interest in women's sports, and I hope to see more of a rise in it.
Though the team finished with a disappointing 3-2 loss to the Houston Dash, Bay FC is looking to recover. The club plays its second home match this Sunday against the Seattle Reign FC Club at PayPal Park. I'm Kyle Tran with Update News.
An international music icon took the stage at the San Jose Civic this week, but this star is only visible digitally. Reporter Alyssa Phillip has more.
An international music icon took the stage at the San Jose Civic Auditorium this week, but this star is only visible digitally. Here's more. Hatsune Miku is not a real person. She's a 2D virtual Japanese music idol, created using digital voice software, light projections, and LED screens. Fans go all out with elaborate outfits and light sticks for the event, especially as it is the first Miku Expo since the pandemic.
I'm a cosplayer for about 7 years. It hasn't been such a big convention in a while, especially during the COVID period.
Miku debuted in 2007 and has amassed a large global audience. Many have been dedicated fans over the last decade.
This is my first time at the Miku Expo. So happy I made it out after being a Vocaloid fan for 10 years, but super excited to just be myself, dance around.
Events like the Hatsune Miku Expo provide a place for people to express themselves without judgment and befriend fellow fans.
An event like Miku Expo is a chance for marginalized communities to come together, because if you're a fan of Hatsune Miku, it doesn't matter what gender you are, what you identify as, what ethnicity you are.
I live in a very small town away from here, and I've never been able to go to cons or be anywhere where people like anime at all. So it feels nice to just have a community where people support me, and I've gotten compliments today of how I've been dressed, and it feels like I have a family.
Anime and events like the Hatsune Miku Expo can bring together people from all different locations and all different backgrounds. In San Jose, I'm Alyssa Phillips, Update News.
Today is National Pet Day, the day the nation recognizes all the pets that fills our homes. The National Institute of Health says that the interaction with animals has been shown to decrease levels of stress and lower blood pressure. The pets are also said to help decrease loneliness and boost moods. Here's a look at some of our new newsroom's pets and the fun they share with their owners. So whether you have a dog, cat, snake, fish, or something else, give them a little extra love today in appreciation for everything they do for you.
The recent spring break was a time for our students to reboot and spend time with their families. Our reporter, Unity Zibi, went around campus to find out how students spent their time off this week's Stay in Spartan.
I was actually on campus quite a bit. So on Wednesday, I volunteered at the Bay Area Biomedical Device Conference here at our school, hosted by Biomedical Engineering Society.
Played volleyball with some of my friends, and we went to different coffee shops, just tried new restaurants.
I went with my friend to the beach, and we just take a lot of pictures.
And I spent spring break working here and getting ready for SJSU Research Week, April 15th to 20th.
I did go home, see my family down in SoCal for 3 days, and then I came back up and just went to work. Just worked throughout the whole spring break.
I'm from South San Francisco, so I just stayed home and then picked up a couple extra shifts.
I didn't do anything much. I just went to Mountain View with my friend and we got a jelly cat.
Looking for something fun to do this weekend? Carson has some more ideas in her calendar.
Here's what's coming up this week. On April 13th, it's Admitted Spartans Day. The whole event runs from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., but our studio opens at 12 p.m., so you can come check it out. We're in Dwight Bendel Hall, 141. Also on April 13th is April's second Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Gamble Garden in Palo Alto. Finally, on April 13th and 14th, it's the 57th annual NorCal Cherry Blossom Festival in Japantown, San Francisco. It runs this week and next weekend. That's all for this week.
And that does it for this week's edition of Update News. Don't forget to follow us on our socials at SJSU Update News.
From all of us here, thank you for joining us and see you next week.